Chapter 6388. Charlie didn't expect that the Nordic royal family had a holiday house in the town he was going to. It sounded like it was indeed much easier, so he said, "I'll ask Kathy what she has to say about it." Helena nodded and said, "Mr. Wade, please wait a moment. I'll have someone bring the key there. You can discuss it with Miss Lynn on the way. If she is interested, you two can go directly there." Charlie felt that Helena's proposal was very reasonable, so he didn't hesitate. Helena quickly asked the butler to bring a set of keys. The butler told him that the holiday home Helena was talking about was actually a manor located on a hill outside Lingen. The entire hill and the surrounding large tracts of land belonged to the Nordic royal family. In the early years, the Nordic royal family had greater power and a more relaxed economic situation, and the land price in northern Europe was low. In order for his daughter to see the aurora, the old emperor bought the land and built a Nordic-style holiday villa. Since the holiday villa carries many childhood memories of the old queen, even though the royal family has fallen into decline over the past few decades, they have always maintained the holiday villa very well. When Helena was young, she would occasionally go there with her family. Charlie received the key, and he and Maria simply took a few sets of clothes and drove away from the palace. The data center happened to be in the north of Oslo. Marcus, Duncan, and Abram were all here, so Charlie and Maria went there. Charlie greeted several people and asked them to find Helena for small matters and to find him for big matters. Before leaving, Abram found Charlie and said to him, "Mr. Wade, I have something to discuss with you." Charlie asked him, "What's the matter, brother?" Abram said, "In the past 2 days, I have roughly sorted out the software, hardware, and database of Skyline, and found that since SpaceX began to undertake the business of commercial satellite launches, Skyline has always entrusted its remote sensing satellites to SpaceX for launch. It can be regarded as SpaceX's earliest customer and the most supportive one too. They have always had a close cooperative relationship with SpaceX. So I would like to ask you if you can say hello to Skyline and register the communication satellite of Cataclysmic Front under the name of Skyline. And then through the deep cooperative relationship between Skyline and Musk SpaceX, let SpaceX help us. Our communication satellite is launched into space orbit." Abram said, "Satellite launches, after all, are a very strictly controlled field, and the threshold for launch is very high. There are no less than 10,000 companies in the world that can build various satellites. But there are only 10 companies that provide satellite launch services to third parties and launch satellites into orbit. There are also many requirements for the companies to which the satellites belong, and a series of qualifications must be reviewed. If there is no suitable affiliated company, Cataclysmic Front Satellite will have to find a shell company to be affiliated in the future. And the new company's cooperative relationship with companies like SpaceX will need to be re-established. It is definitely not as convenient as directly affiliated with Skyline." After listening to his description, Charlie nodded slightly and said, "This should be no problem. I'll communicate with the person in charge. Do you have any other needs, brother?" Abram, after thinking for a while, said, "If the launch problem is simplified, I want to increase the number of satellites to more than 30. Today's communication satellites are very well miniaturized and relatively cheap. Even SpaceX's Starlink satellite is only a few $100,000. In the future, the total number of Starlink satellites will be more than 10,000 or even 30,000 or 40,000. However, it faces global users. If we want to solve Cataclysmic Front's own global communication and internet access problems, dozens of low-Earth satellites will be enough." Charlie nodded and said, "Since I got the data from Skyline, it has indeed further increased my expectations for satellites. As long as we can achieve the expected results, let alone launch dozens of satellites. Even if we need to launch 10,000 satellites in the future, it will not be a problem. Just go ahead and do it, brother. If you need money, I will give it to you. If you need people, I will pay and you can recruit them yourself. If you need connections, I will help you find it. And we will try to launch our satellite next year.